I'll tell you one thing. I have done a lot of things for Starbucks. I've driven a lot. I think that's the longest excursion I've ever taken to a Starbucks in my life. We left. Tim Twaddle is here with me. Yeah, you're making a video. You're on the video right now. You gotta, hey, listen, you're gonna have to make videos on good days and bad days. I have to make them. That's the way it is. So obviously, not a great day today. 5th with Taiwan on, going into a race where on the program she looked like she was the best. Felt like she warmed up. She felt like she was the best, but didn't perform like she was the best. And you know, there are probably a lot of little things going on. You know, I don't think anybody understands. You know, it's one, it's impossible to have a horse perfect all the time, and two, they have to be at their best in a competitive field and if they're not, if they're 95%, you know, you see the remnants of what took place today. She's a 2-year-old filly. It's 31 degrees. How long's the ship?
Almost 5 hours to the farm yesterday, and then another 45 minutes.
So, for the better part, 5 hours to the farm in the searing heat yesterday. Where'd you stay at? What farm?
It's in Maryland. It's right on the border. Right on the border.
Cool. So, 5 hours to the farm yesterday, and then another 45 minutes today in the heat. Warmed up. She still felt okay, but fizzled out on the end of it. Now, the thing that
You know who used to own the farm?
Who?
Montgomery Burns. It's
Oh
his
my
old
God.
farm.
It's always got to haunt me. Every day this guy's got to find a way to be in my life. So it's just the way it shakes down. Some days, you know, you're going to have luck, and some days you're not. So she warmed up good, but as I said, on the right line finishing up. That's a clear indicator usually, well, of two things, or both of them. One, soreness, which I didn't see, but we'll have her checked out. And two, breathing. Now, we had her scoped after a little bit of mucus. No blood, so that's good. A little bit of mucus, but her airway flips easy. You see a lot of that these days. Geez, every time I get a horse scoped now, hold on, how it flips easy. They never used to? Is it because every vet that ever scopes a horse for us, oh, you know, I flip that pellet easy. Anyway, we had Baycoxter in the past. She hasn't been Baycoxed in a couple of weeks. It's not generally something you have to do week in and week out non-stop. Especially when you don't hit a horse like her. She doesn't have the telltale signs of a EPM horse, so it's not something that would come up on a calendar. Hey, this Monday we have to scope, or we have to give the EPM stuff to Taiwan. So a number of things we can do. We can work with the palate. That could have been the reason she was on the right line, or maybe there was something ailing her that didn't show up. You know, we did have her stifles done 2.5 weeks ago. The circle bell, I know. 2.5 weeks ago, we had her stifles done. Is that right stifle bothering her a little bit? This is a growing filly. She's getting big now. So it's not unreasonable to say, well, she's a little bit this or she's a little bit that. And then I guess you have to factor in also the fact that that's quite a different surface than the Meadows, Northfield, Tamiko, Mohawk. Now, again, I'm a proponent of everybody's got a race on it, so I don't get to make excuses for mine. Now, the 4-horse, a nice filly that beat everybody at the Meadows, she made a break in the first turn. So there's been breakers all day. Some horses don't get a hold of the surface as well. Did that play a part in what was obviously a lackluster race? Could have. Unfortunately, she can't talk, and I haven't been able to teach her sign language. So we're not going to know what the issue is. We're going to have to revisit everything. The airway, there's an indicator there. Maybe we do need to Baycox her again and work on her airway a little bit. Was that right stifle bothering her again? We're going to bring her back to Northfield for a few days, get some fluids run into her, get her looked at, and see what is going on. Now, at this point, there's only two legs of either the Stallion Series or the Sire Stakes. So there's no point dropping her down into the Stallion Series because there's no gimmies anywhere in North America. Anywhere. Not at the fairs, not in Ontario, certainly not Pennsylvania. So I think we'll stay the course. I mean, here's a filly that was the favorite today going for 80,000. Wasn't like she was 12-1 and it just didn't work out. You know, she just didn't perform well today. So we'll stay the course in the Sire Stakes Series. Now the good thing is there's only 2 divisions today. There's 3 divisions in the Meadows. We've already put up a 4th and a 5th. It's reasonable to believe that at worst case scenario we would make the consolation, which goes for 50,000 also. So it's not all bad, but again, you're left putting a positive spin or that silver lining on what was a rather lackluster race. Now today, obviously, Rose Above It didn't race well either. She's really in the hot seat now. Rose Above It didn't race good either.
Kind of a no trend fast.
Yeah, terrible. So, not the end of the world. You know, he's had 7 or 8 starts now. No doubt, a little sick, a little tied up, little this, little that. You know what we're going to do? I'm going to turn him out. I'm going to turn him out for a month and a half or so. He's going to be a good little horse for us, I think, late in the fall, into the winter. Virtually the same schedule we kind of had Won My Heart Hanover on, I would think, is what you're going to see from Rose Above It. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, as I said a million times, what we need is productive horses. Not only do we have to find the right class, but potentially the right season for these horses also. So Rose Above It, he's been an okay colt. Trotted in 57, just got beat in 58 once. Trotted in 58. Useful 2-year-old heading into 3. Now the thing I find the most interesting is he has never looked awesome. What I mean by that is optically, to go up and look at him, he doesn't look awesome ever. Hair is always a little woody looking. You know, he's small, could use a little more weight. This is a horse that somebody mentioned the other day, and every year we get this. How come some of the 3-year-olds don't get better at 3? Because we have them as good as they're maybe ever going to be at 2. I don't think this is one of those cases, right? I think Rose Above It physically has a lot of growing and maturing to do, and I think he'll be a very useful horse for us into the fall, into the winter. But, you know, as it goes today, yeah, he's got a Stallion Series come back next week. Do we really want to run a bunch of electrolytes and fluids and antibiotics through him just to have him try and race against horses that will give him everything he wants and a little bit more? It just makes no sense to me. So let's just give the horse some time off, bring him back, and use him when he's going to be the most effective, and that will be fall into the winter. So that's those two. White Tiger, we got to see him race. You could say, you know, Tim and I sat there and watched the race together. You could see they were very tentative with him. Nobody wants to have 2 breaks in the card and come back and have to qualify. He was in a place where he probably should have been really good. But I want to talk to Mr. Lieberman also. Did he look a little rough in the turns? He did to me a little bit more, and he had mentioned to me that the turns at Plain Ridge are a little more flat. Are there some adjustments to be made? He knows the track a lot better than I. I don't know the track at all, so it wouldn't be hard to know him better than me. You know, are there changes he wants to try on White Tiger? Overall, 56 last quarter and 29. We've seen that movie lots of times from this guy. But I need to know, is this going to be an effective horse at Plain Ridge? So he seems like a pretty straight shooter. I don't know the gentleman that well at all, but seems like a nice enough guy. I haven't even talked to him on the phone. Everything we've talked with was via text or email. So we'll see how what he says about White Tiger. We still got a lot of questions to answer. I almost put Stonebridge Simba in Tioga Sunday because we were going Bomb Hugger, but the licensing, the headaches, the torture, I just said it's not worth the torture to go race for $7,500 or whatever the hell he's going to race for, so we didn't bother. He's going to be heading, I don't know, he'll be heading to Tim's, or he'll be heading to, we just sold So Admirable, so Mark Beckwith, who's had a pretty good run the last little while for us, he's got no horses for us also. Stonebridge Simba gets around a half pretty good. He gets around Northfield good. Is he a horse that might go to Saratoga? West 52nd, Mark had told me there's a 15 and a 20 claimer there. Is that a place where he could go? So, I mean, I have a list quietly at home of horses that are in limbo. Horses that can't consistently get in where they can win. I have a list of those horses, and I constantly revisit them to see if there's any changes that we can make. So that part of the day's over. No luck with Rose Run, or with Rose Above It. He's going out to the field. Not a tiny bit of luck. We get paid a little bit of money for Taiwan On. We're going to see if we can get her all geared back up, straightened away. I don't think there's anything seriously wrong with her today, and I think she is as good as any of those fillies. So it's just a matter of a few little tightening ups here and there, and then we'll get her to the Poconos in 10 days' time. White Tiger, as I said, finished, you said 5th, right? White Tiger was 5th, trotted 56.29 in the end of it. He could do more, he could do better. I'd like to see him do more, but that will be up to Jeff Lieberman. I'll talk to him today or tomorrow, I would hope. And then I just watched First Glance second. I'm like, geez, he give it up. 53-3. Want to talk about how tough it is to race a horse in Ontario right now? Non-winners of that had to be the non-winners of 30, something like that. 53-3 over Grand River. That's a fast mile. That is a lot. So we've garnered a second and a fourth and a fifth so far in 3 starts. Not the end of the world. We are now pulling into, what's the name of the horse you're racing to?
All Night Mickey.
All Night Mickey. So if you're watching All Night Mickey race, we have Spirit of Dio, who is picked for first or second. Path of Totality, same. Picked for first or second. And then we also have I'm a Lovely Lady, who is most definitely not picked for first or second. That ended up being some bad luck. A well-timed plan, I think. Was not formulated by me, but signed off on by me and by Jason and I for sure. We thought that, you know, if they were going to go with 2 short divisions, all we'd do is miss a couple of them. We didn't. We got a bunch of them. So 5-hole, but I think she'll hang up a check. I could see her, if we had really good luck, being 3rd. If we have okay luck, being 4th or 5th. We'd have to have bad luck to be last, I think, to be 6th. So we'll see how that works out. So today has not been the adventure we hoped it would be. That goes without saying, but that is racing. The good news is neither rose above it, nor Taiwan have any issues. There's no lameness there. Just simply a little bit of sickness, a little bit of allergies, a little bit of issues we have to work on, but we will get them done. So that is it. It's going to be, I have to drive home in the dark. I won't get home till 1 o'clock. So, and then tomorrow we're going to get up and drive to Tioga. So I won't really get a chance to talk to anybody till tomorrow afternoon. So I thought I'd do a video right now as we pull in to Columbus. And you have, what'd you say? Something Mickey?
All Night Mickey.
All Night Mickey. Oh, you're in with Burke's filly?
Yes.
Jesus. That thing's a freak, eh?
I've had to face her once before.
These things, that just looks like a freak.
She is.
Well, good luck to you. Good luck to us. We'll talk to you guys very, very soon.